Okay, and we are live. So welcome everyone to the Grafana Campfire Community call session for the month of July. And today we have something very exciting, which is a very hot topic these days in the tech industry, which is known as the MCP. So Model Context Protocol. What we're going to talk about today is that how to use the Grafana MCP and integrate it with AI tools, and so that you can use the AI assistants in your Grafana. And today we got two amazing experts with us. And before that, I will introduce the rest of the panel. So myself, my name is Usman, and I work here in Grafana Labs for about 3 years, and I'm with the DevRel team. And joining me today is the one and only Matt Ryer. Matt?
Hello. Yes, I am. There is one of me, only one of me, as far as I know. Yeah, I haven't checked everyone, but presumably.
Do we even want more mats?
I don't think it's a bit. I don't think it'd be a good idea. I don't think we need one in lots of cases, and yet here I am. Yes, so I'm a senior. Well, I don't do titles. Senior principal engineer. But thing is, I am working on the assistant project, which is kind of very related to this topic, LLMs and the like. Very exciting stuff. And I'm also here with David Kaltschmidt. David, do you use AI?
I thought you were going to ask me if I use my title. I usually don't. I just say I run the Grafana team. I do use AI sometimes. I think my son uses it more than I do, but not to code yet. Yeah, but for work, definitely a lot more than ever. Really, yeah. I guess that's on everyone. Who else do we have here? Who goes next? Luccas, maybe?
Yeah, I can go next. Hello, I'm Lucas, based in Brazil, and I work in the AI ML team for 3.5 years now. And yeah, like I vibe code every day now, so I use AI every day. Ioanna, what about you?
Cool. Yeah. So yeah, I'm
Most
Ioanna.
importantly, Ioanna, why did you just giggle when Lucas?
Because everyone is vibe coding these days. No, is there another way to do it? Anyway, so I'm Ioanna. I joined Grafana about 2 and something years ago now. I'm part of the MLAI team. Why did you say AI? It's MLAI.
AI ML,
Yeah,
MLAI.
it's MLAI. Though recently it's just AI, it's not ML anymore. So yeah, I'm part of the AI team now, working on an assistant as well, like a form of assistant. It's not the generic one that Matt and Lucas are working at the moment. It's a smaller part of it, which is doing it's investigating like what's wrong inside your stuff. So it's hopefully it's coming soon. So yeah, and I do vibe code. Yesterday I created like a whole repo in Grafana just for this meeting. So it's great.
Yeah. I think
I created.
Yeah, sure. Well, yeah. I think you can still get the credit though. I don't know how it works.
Yeah, true. I committed it, so it's good.
Yeah. Although now with we have the cursor bot also installed, and we're playing with that, where you can just in Slack you can just mention cursor and ask it to do something, and it'll go and load the thread. It loads that for context, so you can be having a conversation naturally, and then you can just ping cursor and say, "Oh, do a PR that fixes this thing," or something like that. And genuinely, like, it's good, and you can see it is getting better. Even its sort of first attempts are getting better. So that is kind of exciting. We don't use it for complex things, but just for little tweaks. It's much easier than going through all the workflow with GitHub and stuff, and you just get a PR at the end of it. It's pretty cool.
It changes a bit the contributor stats, though. We have to be careful about it.
Yeah, it's true. I think we did have a week where Cursor was the most. Cursor had in the insights the most commits.
Yeah, and I think Cursor actually recently outperformed many of the other tools in terms of usage. So it's quite popular these days now.
Yeah, they're doing a good job for sure. Yeah, but the technology. It's kind of strange. You say AI, ML, AI is non-deterministic, but so are the outputs of these models. And if you do live demos, we did a live demo when we announced the assistant project, and you sort of don't know what it's going to do. It most of the time does things that are sensible. It usually gets you there, but it is kind of creative. Why is that, Luccas? Even if you set the temperature to 0, why is it still non-deterministic?
Yeah, right. It's a probabilistic model, right? So, I mean, if you set the temperature to 0, you will get like when the probability is almost 100%, but that also reduces creativity. So for writing code, for example, you don't want to you want to let it write as much as it can and interact with your code in a more fluid way. So you always have these to balance, right? Like, do I want to let it be creative or make sure that every time it will be the same result? So we end up sacrificing the right result every time to just have more interesting results. And turning the AC in your house doesn't help. I try that, and it's always the same result.
Doesn't matter the temperature. So yeah, that's the thing that's strange, is you want that creativity, like you say. You want it to be slightly open-minded, especially when it's investigating some new issue. And most hard problems in observability in particular is like they're new problems that haven't happened before, because usually if they've happened, you've got alerts covering it now, or you've taken steps to kind of prevent it. So you do, yeah, you're right, you need that balance, which is just really interesting. And imagine then writing tests for that sort of thing, which we are doing, and it is kind of an interesting world.
I was actually about to say that the balance in the temperature is quite important, as you said. But at the same time, if you need to evaluate your systems, then this temperature setting can actually cause you some issues. So you needed to be creative in some cases, but you needed to not be creative at all in some others, because when you're evaluating, you don't want this to be creative at all. So yeah, it's a hard problem. It's an interesting one.
I'm going to start using this on people when I think they're not creative enough.
What is the temperature?
Temperature, we just dial it up.
It's a good idea. So MCP, this is a standard protocol. We're going to learn a lot about this, soon. But like, is this something that you think MCP is here to stay, Ioanna? Like, do you feel like this is it? They've nailed it?
If you ask me now, you're asking me now. So yeah, I'm going to say that it's here to stay. But it wasn't here a year ago, and nothing of that wasn't here like 5 years ago. So I don't really know what's going to come next to actually erase it from the map. But for now, it seems to be the way to go. It's extremely hot. Every big company is actually creating their own MCP server. It solves a lot of issues. It makes integrating with different like services extremely cheap for companies at the moment. So it is the way to go. I don't know. For me, it's here to stay, but everything is moving too fast.
Yeah.
I don't know if Luccas has a different opinion on that, but
I feel like this just makes its way through sort of mainstream now, MCP. Like, I sort of hope it's there to stay at least for a bit, because I don't know how people are supposed to keep up with this otherwise.
Yeah, right. We're going to need some foundations to build on if we're doing this. I think even recently, though, MCP has changed in some significant ways. So I feel like it is still in flux, but it feels like, at least we're going to end up. Well, I don't know what version it's on yet, but we need a V1 really so that we can stick to it. But this is for anyone not familiar. Oh, sorry, Ioanna.
Yeah, I read recently somewhere that HTTP was initially created to solve a very specific problem, and now it controls the universe, right? So I think that MCP is sort of somehow the equivalent of that for AI models. And yeah, so hopefully it's here to stay, because we're investing a lot of time and effort into that.
Yeah. And if you look at Hacker News, I have this feeling that every week in Hacker News, there's like a post saying that MCP is the it's a terrible idea, it's a terrible protocol, and then next week you have someone saying that, oh, I built this awesome thing with MCP
Amazing.
and now everything is easier. I even saw this analogy that we always say that MCP is like USB-C for AI, but someone said recently, and I thought it was really good, that it's more like a cigarette lighter. Like, you remember the car cigarette lighters that we used to have, that now they are used for anything else but cigarettes. So we created this for connecting AI, but now people are using for many, many things. So I think the protocol is already there and people will figure out how to use it still.
Yeah, I think I agree here. So it is definitely going to stay. Obviously, my take is that there is still improvement needed in terms of security point of view. So there are some barriers or hurdles, and actually work is going on. So I was recently in this conference where it was more about like talking about the MCP and learn a lot that the security measures are taken very seriously when it comes to integration. So um, hopefully those barriers or hurdles get better or get more easily integrated in many various ways.
Yeah. You kind of want things to be developed out in the open, and I think that means using things when they aren't yet fully baked. That's sort of the nature of it. So you do get there'll always be a load of people that jump on the gaps and really highlight it, and honestly that's probably what helps drive the priorities as well. But for anyone not familiar, MCPs, I mean, essentially, like if you've got an agent, like you use Cursor or Warp or one of those, or even desktop kind of ChatGPT, you can wire up an MCP server and give your agent more capabilities. And it's a set of tools and there's some prompts, and it kind of changes the agent in some way, and also allows it to access things through an API, which is the MCP kind of protocol. So very useful if you want to actually wire up, say, GitHub's a very common one. There's a load of tools in that, but imagine being able to ask ChatGPT questions and then have it create PRs or create issues for you, that kind of thing. It lets you do things like that. So it is exciting when you think of like being able to plug these things together. Should we dig in? I know you've got a presentation for us. Should we get in and find out more about MCP, what it really is?
Yeah.
Cool.
Should I? Okay. Yeah. Okay, Matt did. Perfect.
Okay. So, well, before we, just a quick recap, right? Like we were talking about AI and LLMs, and I think this is always a good reminder that things are moving fast, like we were saying. So this is like a timeline that shows the evolution of LLMs from the early statistical models, so like n-grams and Word2Vec, until the groundbreaking models like GPT-3 or GPT-4, and here in 2022 we have the release of ChatGPT, which is probably the moment that LLMs really got popular, and especially the chatbot interface that we are all familiar with nowadays. But the main topic, MCP, is from the end of last year, so November last year, that Anthropic released out in the open, right? Like Matt mentioned, and probably that's why it got really famous, because other companies were already doing some kind of tool calling. So still, before talking directly about MCP, I think it's good to remind how we used to do things. So to understand what is the problem that MCP is trying to solve. So we used to use LLMs like this, right? The initial approach was we provide context and some instructions, and it was essentially a single call to the LLM and doing a single action and having a text-based response, a chat response. So you ask a question, you provide some context, it has the context of the internet, and you have an output. And we did that a lot in Grafana. so for example, here we were generating explanations for profiles flame graphs, which personally I find really hard to understand what's going on. And the LLMs were helping like to generate a more human understandable explanation, making it working with profiles less of a barrier. And we also
this feature is just phenomenal. Like literally, if you don't know about flame graphs, this is how you could learn. This is actually a better way to learn, I think, than whatever we had before. And there's also, I think, something about the way that the way that they did this, which was essentially turn the flame graph into a textual representation of that data, and then give that to the LLM and ask it to summarize it. So it's got this intermediary text format, hasn't it?
Yeah, and being able to interact with the text and seeing that in the flame graph, it's pretty powerful, right? Like it's still just a text interface, but you're interacting with the thing you want to learn more about. And I think few apps or I haven't seen that much. Like usually it's just a text-based interface and very chat-like interface. That's really cool.
Yeah, we're trying to focus on that in Assistant as well, because we just don't want it to be a wall of text. So any opportunity we can to visualize something, and of course it's Grafana Labs, so we've got all the great Grafana visualizations we can use. But yeah, same thing. We just don't want that wall of text.
And I just wanted to, sorry, if I just wanted to say one thing really cool. So like this is a prime example, like it is not just generating the text, but it's also giving you the root cause. And I have worked in the tech support industry, and when you have like escalations and when you resolve it, you always more focus on the root cause rather than like reading the 1200 messages. So you want to find the root cause, and this is a good way actually to learn it. So what was the root cause and what are the recommendations? So a perfect use case for your support or for your customers who need the details.
Yes, and Usman, you're going to love some of our new stuff that's coming soon. Just say that.
Yeah, I think we in observability we always have to have in mind that in a bunch of moments people will interact with this in a very stressful moment. So having something that explains and make it more digestible if it's 3 a.m. and you just got an alert, that's really powerful, right? And we use the same logic, the same pattern for other features in Grafana, and that's the result of many experiments and hackathons. Like once that GPT-3 was out, we started experimenting with this. So here I brought 3 examples. We have incident auto summary. So like you're resolving an incident, you can just summarize the conversation, the timeline of the incident. The other one that I really like is explaining error patterns. So like you get this pattern in your logs, and sometimes you have no idea what that log line should mean. And of course, you can copy that, paste in Google, and see your result. But you're already there, and you already have the context. So that saves some time. Same with like generating descriptions for changing dashboard and so on. So this is LLMs before we're calling here like LLM 1.0, right? But what we are talking here today is the tool calling and the LLM in the agentic era. So we want the LLMs to do more than just provide a chat response. The goal is the LLM to make tool calls, interact with the environment, use a private context that is not the internet context, and execute like custom actions to reason about these actions and the environment and help to solve problems. And that's where a protocol like MCP it's really important. Right, Ioanna? I think you have more details about that.
Yeah, exactly. Just admin stuff. Do you want me to take over the screen share?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So I can. Do you see my screen?
Not yet. Yes.
Perfect. Okay. So yeah, you mentioned the agentic era. I really like it. We're entering this, and in this era, like the LLMs need to do real work, right? It's not about generate text. It's about do things like query Prometheus, maybe create incidents in Grafana or second call schedules. We needed them. We need the LLMs to integrate finally with different services and APIs. So let's say that you're building an AI assistant. You want this AI assistant to connect to GitHub, to connect to Slack, to Grafana, your internal tooling, right? Its integration means custom code, authentication handling, you need to do error management, you need to maintain the code that you just made. So this is exactly the problem that MCP solves. Luccas already mentioned that Anthropic released like Model Context Protocol in November 2024. And this is exactly that. It's a standard, it's a unified way for AI applications to talk to any different service. The metaphor that was mentioned before, and this is like what we're showing here in this slide, it's like the USB-C for LLMs. And at first I thought, yeah, okay, that's cool. It connects things, it makes sense. It moves data around. But then I realized that it's actually even deeper than that. If you think about the USB-C port, it's not revolutionary because it's a port. It's revolutionary because it's a universal possibility space. You can plug in anything to that. You can plug in power, you can charge your phone. You can plug in data, video, audio, you can actually transfer information. The same port is able to handle everything because the protocol underneath is smart enough to understand what you need. So MCP does a very, very similar thing. It gives like the same functionality to AI. It doesn't just connect the LLM to services. It creates like a standardized interface that says, implement your protocol once. That's fine. Do all the work once, and then any service can use, and any AI, any model can use your service. And to be fairly honest, like it's not only AI services. Like it gives you the opportunity. It gives the opportunity to any service to connect to any service through MCP. So it's not only about LLMs. The really beautiful part for me is that every MCP server that is built for Cloud Desktop or that is built for Cursor, it works for everything. It works for Cloud, it works for Cursor, it works for local LLMs, with whatever comes next, like whatever comes in the future. So whatever talks MCP, if this makes sense. I think it's extremely powerful.
So Ioanna,
yeah.
So this is amazing. So people using MCP for non-AI situations, but does that make sense? Does it just use the tools directly? Are they using the prompts? Do they have to generate prompts? Is it how are they doing that?
I haven't really done this personally, but if you have MCP that connects to every different service, then why only use AI? Like, does it mean that you need to build an AI? You need to build an agent to use MCP in order to reach the APIs? No, maybe you want to do something far simpler than that, right? So yeah, like I don't really see how this can be done. I mean, this obviously can be done now, but I do believe that MCP is going to stay there not only to help AI applications, but just to help any developer do whatever they want with the different MCP servers that there are out there.
Okay, that is a bold prediction. Let's get that one. We'll track that.
I mean,
that sounds like
it
sounds good.
Let's see.
Yeah.
So,
and I just want to make clear
yeah.
one thing as well. You talked about agentic, just for anybody that doesn't know. Basically, this has made for loops sexy again. Now, this is like not just request reply. This is where your agents can take the response of a tool call and then look at that output and decide to continue or not. And so it literally in a loop, they can continue and investigate. We get the assistant to do investigations using that kind of technique. But when it's answering questions, it might want to go and do a few steps. And so it's this multi-step nature of it. That's the agentic that makes them agents. It seems trivial, but actually it is what I think it was a big leap in the use of this technology, having for loops.
Yeah. No, I think that this opens like a massive space. a lot of people are experimenting. Like we are experimenting with this at the moment, right? So yeah, I think that this opens a massive space for more experiments and more developments on that.
And I
Yeah.
think
Anyway,
the
Lucas.
reasoning layer, right? Like we tried before agentic or before LLMs, we tried to make these root cause analysis or
Yeah.
SRE automatizations, and then you always miss the reasoning layer, which the LLMs are pretty good at. Like you get a result from log lines, and there's an infinite amount of possibilities in these log lines. Like what it could be an error, it could be from the server, it could be from third-party dependency, and having an LLM in the middle of this action, the next action, and reasoning about it and selecting the next action. I mean, it's not just the if or else, like, and that's really powerful.
It's exactly that. Like selecting the next step, I think it's extremely important. It saves a lot of time from an engineer that is on call and something is on fire. Like having something else doing this for you, even in parallel or even just beforehand, because maybe this agentic flow started when an alert fired and you didn't have time to look at it immediately. So you spend like 10 minutes trying to find your laptop and charge everything and set up your desktop. Then you already probably have an answer there because you have an agent at the background saying, oh, you know what? Yeah, I have this alert. I can reason about, okay, what to search next and then what to search next. And maybe I'm going to find you the root cause. I think that this is finding the next step is nice and important. It's a nice use case.
I do have a question. So in this MCP, at the end it says like protocol. So does it follow a specific protocol, or what it means by protocol?
So it is a protocol. It's a specific interface between like an LLM and your APIs. So you are wrapping your APIs with some tools, and those tools need to have a description, a prompt, just to explain to the LLM, you know what, like this is the way to use like this API. This is the data you need to provide. So it kind of the protocol gives some instructions to the LLM on how to use like the tool itself, and eventually there is the information from the API. If someone wants to add more here.
No, but well, yes, and this. I was shocked that this was it ran a binary. Like the MCP ones that I've used run a local binary on your machine, and then it's actually standard in, standard out lines of JSON. I think was the actual interface. There is HTTP as well. I can see why that happened, but I feel like it would just be HTTP, wouldn't it? And then these local MCP servers just make an HTTP server. Surprised it went like that. Any insight?
Yeah, well, I think the transport layer is still kind of up in the air, right? Like they started with a standard input and output, and then you had SSE, and that's still in discussion. But I think the why MCP became the protocol is just because they started in the open. Like OpenAI was doing tool calling also, and now it's integrating more with MCP. It's just like when you create a place so people can discuss the protocol and discuss even the transport layer, right? It's easier to get adoption because then you can come up with a common resolution, a common way to do things, right?
Yeah, makes sense.
Just a side note, I just realized that I have a single monitor for this call, and I don't see your faces while I'm doing the presentation, so this sucks. So I don't really know if anyone is about to jump or anyway.
We're just going to be watching. We're just going to be watching the presentation. Like, you mean for like feedback in case it's not going well?
Exactly. Yeah, you see. I don't want to see your faces.
Yeah, none taken.
Anyway,
it's a feature, you see. That's why you only have one monitor, isn't it?
I do have 2 monitors, but I'm running the call in one for some reason. The other one is big one, so I didn't want to present like that. It's a bit weird.
Fair enough.
I don't know. Cool. Okay. Should I move to the next slide? Is this okay with everyone? Do you want to expand a bit on that?
No,
Yeah?
I'm excited to see what's next.
Yeah, see. So yeah, it's about like the industry, how the industry responded actually in this MCP protocol. So honestly, like the response has been incredible. Like you have within weeks of the MCP announcement, within weeks of the launch, like major companies were building MCP servers. Slack, GitHub, Postgres for different database queries, like Superbase, Figma. They saw the opportunity and they kind of went for it, exposing their products to AI developers with minimal friction, which is it's kind of magic, right? And I think that Grafana was very, very early as well. We jumped on this very quickly. It came up, I think, as a hackathon project. I was off at the time. So it came up as a hackathon project in early December last year and very quickly emerged as an open source repo of Grafana. And the response to that also has been great. We have, at the moment, over 1,200 stars on Git. We have contributions from the community. We have people opening issues, sending PRs over. This is actually, people are engaging with it, they're playing with it, and they're very active. So if you see at this,
and I was going to say we should also shout out to Ben Sully as well.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, he's great. I mean, if it wasn't for Ben, I don't think that we would have 1,200 stars at the moment. Anyway, he's on top of everything. He's the magic engineer. I have no idea how he's doing it.
Yeah, you mentioned the hackathon, like Ioanna, and I was in that team. Yeah, Ben, I, and Jack. And the coolest thing about that hackathon is that like Anthropic released MCP a week before the hackathon. Yeah. So while we were doing the hackathon, things were changing. And so from Monday until Friday, MCP was totally different already, the protocol. We interact with other MCP servers like GitHub and Slack, and they were not as ready. So we filled like bug reports and PR. So working with literally like a bleeding edge. Not literally, I hope.
That is what's cool about the hackathons, though, that we have here. I think because there are no rules. It's just no rules, then you can just do anything. And yeah, like you do see people doing things that they really shouldn't be doing, and I'm so glad they do.
Yeah.
I think that, Luccas, you mentioned to me that when you started the hackathon on Monday, there was no Slack MCP announcement, but then suddenly, I don't know, Wednesday, 2 days afterwards, like there was a Slack MCP, something like that. So you started using it, something like that. And suddenly it came up.
Yeah, at the beginning of hackathon, we were integrating with Slack using the API like medieval times, and by the end of hackathon we just asked the agent to, okay, every time you do something, go back in the Slack thread and mention that you're doing something. So we didn't have to like write up the Slack API anymore. We just asked the agent to do it.
Yeah,
it's so good, isn't it?
It was really good. Yeah,
it's so good. Yeah, we built a thing where we've got multiple agents that are helping on a job, and to cancel it, what we do is we just tell them all, the user would like you to cancel, and so it's actually up to them whether they cancel or not based on that. What they do though is they'll say, okay, let me just summarize what I've figured out so far, and it's a kind of get this graceful shutdown by doing that trick. So that I thought was really strange. It's a strange world.
You don't have to do the graceful shutdown yourself, though.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so we're talking about like other stuff. Let's talk about what Grafana MCP is now. So what it can do. So in the last few months, I think that it's January onwards. I think February onwards maybe. So we've exposed a big set of tools that cover like the core functionality that you'd want when probably working with Grafana programmatically, or you want an AI system to handle. So for incident response, let's say, imagine asking the question, who's on call for this team? Or create a major incident because I saw a massive API latency spike. on this metric. And you have the MCP server handling that with the on-call schedules, the team lookups, the incident management. We mentioned SIFT before. We're exposing like some SIFT tools through the MCP server, so you can ask it, do you see any error pattern logs? Actually, any error patterns in my logs for this service? Can you go and find them? Can you give them to me? Do we have any slow requests in this flow, in this app? So the SIFT integration in the background, we're going to call the API, like CMCP will call the APIs, and SIFT will automatically detect anomalies in logs and traces and whatever tool we're going to add. So for data sources and queries, you can list different data sources that you have in your instance. You can query Prometheus, you can query Loki, you can fetch metric metadata. You can ask questions like, what's the 95th percentile latency of this service over the last hour? And it's going to give you an answer, which is actually quite cool. You can search dashboards. You can update dashboards. You can even create some. We'll see in a bit. We'll have some demos on that. You can extract panel queries and data source information. You can list alert rules and statuses. You can view and manage contact points. You can list, I'm just going through the list now. You can list teams and users in your organization. Like, the good thing about this MCP server is not that we're not just trying to expose like API calls, but we're trying to provide some tools that understand observability workflows as well. And hopefully this will become better as we go. Is it flawless? Definitely not. Does it work every time? The answer is no, it doesn't work every time. I mean, you have an LLM in front of it. So, but yeah, we really hope that the community will engage, will explore it more. We're waiting for the feedback, open more issues, open PRs, like we're more than happy see your messages and the contributions from the messages and contributions from the community. So yeah, like the fact that it reached like 1,200 stars in what, like 5 months, it was great. It seems that people are using it, which is cool. The good news is that getting started is really easy. So you have multiple ways to install Grafana MCP. You can use the pre-built Docker image from Docker Hub. There is an official image there. You can download the binary from the releases page and place it in your path. If you already have Go installed and you're a Go developer, then you can go just build and install it from source. There are very clear instructions on the README of the Grafana MCP repo, so hopefully everyone can actually follow the flows. If not, obviously, like, send us a message. We're more than happy to help you debug. And the only thing that you need is, in terms of auth, obviously, because you need to authenticate with the Grafana instance, is a service account in Grafana with enough permissions so you can use the tools you want. So you just need to generate a token, paste it in your client's config JSON. If you see here, there is a screenshot of how like the Grafana MCP config looks like. Obviously, the command changes based on the installation flow that you've chosen. And you just need to paste like the URL of your instance and obviously the API key that you just created. And then that's it really. You restart Cursor and you see the tools listed as on the screenshot on the left. So yeah, your tool will be available, ready to use. There is a question here, like how many dashboards do I have in my instance? And the answer is 634 dashboards. I don't really know for which instance is that, but I'm pretty sure that it's one of the demo instances that we have in Grafana. So anyway, that's a lot of dashboards. So yeah, now that we've seen sort of what Grafana MCP can offer, I think that Luccas, you can take over again and start with the demos. Luccas can show like a demo on Cursor. So I think that's quite cool.
Nice. I love a live demo. And Luccas, how do you feel about live demoing with LLMs? Feel good?
Sorry, I was muted. I never liked live demos, actually, not even before with traditional software. So with LLMs, it's a bit more, I don't know. But we're all friends here, so
exactly. Could you zoom in a little bit? Speaking of being friends,
yes,
be friendly to my eyes, please. Thank you.
But
is it
Matt, have
good?
you ever seen it like a demo not work with an LM where it was just like, nah, not today, man?
Luckily, no. The only time I had an experience like that where I started to demo it and they said, we're not going to use it. We don't like AI. Just don't even demo it. So it was a human that was being obtuse in that case.
Yeah, that in terms of temperature, that's very cold.
Oh, yeah. It was the same every time.
Yeah.
I was like, are you sure? They're like, yeah. Are you sure? Yeah. Are you sure? Yeah. Forever. For ages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's see if this will work. So I have a cursor here, and I have my MCP Grafana server installed here, and I have a local Grafana running. So don't even try this API keys, my local one. And so Grafana instance is here. I will show in a minute. And I have this Flask, Python Flask app, and it's providing me some HTTP metrics. And what I will try to do in this demo is make cursor or the agent here generate a dashboard based on the metrics. So I already created the app. I'm already generating some Prometheus metrics. It's going to my Prometheus data source connected to my Grafana. And now I want to create a dashboard, and I don't want to do that manually. So I have copy paste here, so I don't have to type very slowly. But what I'm asking here is create a dashboard in Grafana for request rates of this app. I'm not even going too much into details, and call the dashboard MCP demo dashboard. So let's see, fingers crossed. And I really like this dot for 4 seconds. I never thought how much seconds I take for thinking, but
I don't take enough. I think I should take more seconds for thinking.
And now it already read my Python file and my Prometheus configurations, and now listed the data sources from Grafana, and I can see so it asked for all my Prometheus data sources to Grafana, and that's really cool, right? Like it's already calling the tool to figure out data sources without me saying that this is a necessary step. And now what it's doing here in this undefined is actually generating the dashboard, and that takes a while. And while it's doing that, I will
Well, do you need to click that button, Luccas?
No, it's just no. I think it's done now. Yeah, I don't know why it's showing undefined. I think it's because it's generating the JSON. It doesn't render the title of the tool while it's generating. It's a big JSON, right? The dashboard is a big JSON. So it's saying that it created the dashboard. It selects some things without me asking for it. So you imagine that the LLMs will use the context from the internet to generate these dashboards. And I mean, it's general practices. So even if you don't know much what you should put in your dashboard, that's a good way to quick start it. And let's see if it works, right? So I'm here in my local Grafana. Let me refresh. Here it is. You're even created some tags. And now let's see if the panels are working, because sometimes they do, sometimes they don't, and we need to tweak sometimes. But here it is. We have total request rates and active users and request rate over time and request rate by endpoint. And this is all for my demo here, where I'm generating fake load, fake traffic, but it read the metrics and created, and here it is. And one thing that it's really useful, even especially if you have multiple MCP servers, is like directly asking, what can you do? In this case, what can you do with my Grafana instance? So usually, if you get a new MCP, that's a good way to figure out all the possibilities. So it's reading my files. Let's see what we'll come up with. So it's basically what Ioanna just showed, right? Like I can do dashboard management, alert and monitoring, data querying, and I saw someone in the comments mentioning that sometimes it works, sometimes it don't, and that's it, right? I'm a strong believer that if you're setting up an app or an agent that more people will use, the evaluation part and making sure that your prompt is leading the agent in the correct way is very important. Probably the evaluation is the core of your LLM app, right? Your LLM system, because then you can have a bit more of confidence that this will work most of the times. Otherwise, sometimes it will, sometimes it won't. So for the dashboard here, I tried a few times and it tried metrics that didn't exist, or it tried colors even that didn't exist and broke the panel. So apparently this time,
it chose colors that don't exist.
well, color
Flello. Was it like that, like Flurple?
No, it was more like continuous red, or like
I've never had this problem.
tones. Yeah, tones of red. I asked for like creating me a dashboard with tones of red, which is
it's your fault.
Yeah, exactly. Don't confuse the model.
Yeah. Well, I wanted something more urgent. I wanted to look more urgent, and yeah. So this is cursor using Grafana, right? And it's really useful because you already have your code here and you already know the metrics, and you can even like go back and forth and like instrument and update your dashboard and play around with your Grafana instance. That's really powerful. But you can also use in other places, right? I think Ioanna, you have it set up with Cloud's desktop. I don't have Cloud desktop because I use Linux, but I think you can show that to us.
Yeah, very quickly.
I didn't know you were cool. Luccas.
Oh yeah, I just have to mention that I use Linux.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you did, because now I know how cool you are. So just we have a comment that someone answered my question earlier. Max said, when I asked about why it was local processes, Max said MCP initial idea was to connect local processes, and therefore that would be a simpler thing. HTTP brings layer of unsecurity. So thanks for that, Max. And yeah, we do read your comments. See,
we do have a very quick demo for Cloud Desktop just to show IRM. So if we can spend 1 more minute there, and we can go to the. I like this mirror. Honestly, I like it. So yeah, like this is me. I've set up like a Cloud Desktop with an actual Grafana instance. So this is not my local instance anymore. This is an actual like cloud instance. And I'm gonna go and ask like, are there any active incidents at the moment? So it's gonna do its thing. I don't have everything, all the tools running as Luccas has. Like I need to click approve. I want to have this this control. But yeah, it didn't happen here. Like this is crazy. Anyway, so it says you have some incidents.
Can you zoom in on that a little bit?
Yeah, we can.
Thank you.
So it actually went in. It found the incidents, and it says, "Cool. You have like some critical severity incidents. You have some major severity incidents. You can go and say, okay, cool. I want the payment service error spike. Okay, what's that? This is a major incident that started by me. So I'm gonna go and investigate. So give me more details about this. Let's see what's gonna say. Cool. So it goes and it does its thing. Okay, now you ask me. Thank you. So it's gonna go. It has the ID from the previous call. So it's gonna go and get like the incident by ID. So now it's gonna give me all the details that it could find in the incident API. So the incident was created today by me. That's good. The cluster, the labels that it has, the namespace, the service, the team. If you have any incident commander, so you can see Ben Sally, he's everywhere. I mean, he's everywhere. He's the incident commander, and only one person is assigned. I know that Ben is not on call for this demo team. So what I can do is, you have the team here, so I can go and ask, okay, who is actually on call in the payments team at the moment? because Ben is everywhere, but it doesn't mean that he has to solve everything. So it's gonna go find like the tools. We have like some tools around like the on-call and the schedules. So it's gonna go and list the on-call schedules. It's gonna find the one that is for the payments team, hopefully. Okay, it queried all the schedules, and I think that it found the one. Nice. Okay. So why does it list in the schedules? Okay, it does this sometimes. Like it listed like the schedule twice, and now it listed the on-call teams. But now we can get the current on-call users. So sorry about this. I need to have control. But it's
that's okay. Do you accept cookies, Ioanna? Do you ever accept cookies or no? You just
I do sometimes. Depends on,
I just wondered.
depends on the website. So anyway, so yeah, like it went in. It did like a few calls. I think that one call, that the tool call that it did was not necessary. But anyway, I'm gonna go afterwards and figure out why. That's a lot. I don't know. Anyway, so Rob Whelan is actually on call, which is quite funny because he's my manager. So he needs to go and check what's happening with this incident. Please add the note to the incident that Rob is on call. So, it's at least there is a note about it. So hopefully it's gonna do it. I haven't really tried this. Nice. Okay, let's see. Did it add the note? Perfect. Okay. It didn't mention him though. It didn't spam him. Anyway, so yeah, it added a note as well. So yeah, I think that this is actually quite nice. It's a quite nice flow as well. So yeah, that's it for the demos for today.
Yeah, you're showing this, Ioanna, in the cloud desktop, but I always think how useful those kind of flows are when you're not in front of computer, right? In the hackathon that we mentioned, the video that we did, I was at the beach solving an incident, and although that was pretending,
you were at the beach. You were not pretending.
No, yeah, the beach was real. It's really useful, right? Like you're on a run, you're on call, for example, and you're not in front of computer, and you can ask some questions, make sure that the initial investigation is done before you're even. Unfortunately, there's no MCP coffee machine, because ideally you ask it for start doing your coffee while you're waking up, right?
Yeah. Although I do have a coffee machine that does support that, and you sort of need to make sure the cups are there. Otherwise, yeah, and you're never 100% sure that early in the morning, did I remember to put the cups there or not? So I'll just go and check. So I go downstairs, I check, yeah, the cups are there, good, okay, go back to bed. Then I do it. Pointless.
Yeah. Well, now you need a robot that always puts the cup there. But then,
yeah,
put the camera in there. You can have MCP working with the camera and checking like, are there cups there? And then you can say, yeah, cups are there. See?
So this is what it's like working at Grafana Labs. It's just these ideas all the time. They're always sparking off each other. It's amazing.
Okay, I think we can also slowly move to questions. We got this question from one of our community user. So the question is like, is there a plan around to use to add the OAuth 2 support for the MCP server as defined in the change logs? And I think the second part of the question is basically that I don't want, like, the person doesn't want all of his developers, engineers to use the service account to be able to talk to Grafana.
So yeah, that's actually a tricky one, and the one that was discussed recently as well. So in order to do this, it requires that Grafana creates our own auth server, and we don't really have one at the moment. So the ideal flow here would be that Grafana is able to issue and refresh tokens. So this requires some work, like further down the line inside Grafana, so it's not extremely trivial to do. But yeah, like the relevant team is aware, and this is a feature request, and yeah, hopefully at some point we're going to have like more concrete answers, but we don't really have a timeline at the moment.
Yeah, this is where we get this for free with the assistant, because it runs in TypeScript in the browser. It can use, it uses the same APIs that the user is using. It uses their auth token actually, so it can only see what the users can see, and it can only do what users can do. So that is quite a nice sort of feature we get for free. Good question. I'm interested in the auth as well. Someone else said just a wave. Just so, I suppose we all just wave back, do we? Okay. And hello from San Diego as well, Ravi. Hello, Ravi.
Hello, Ravi.
Hello.
Yeah.
And we do have one question also. This is related to MCP, but more for the question on the Loki. So is there like a automated way to query the Loki or LockQL in more natural language using the Grafana MCP?
So
I haven't tried it actually.
you can definitely, there are a lot of Loki tools at the moment, like in Grafana MCP, so you can definitely query Loki. Though you have to remember that obviously querying Loki is not like the most easy thing, at least for me. So the LLM will do the best it can, and also like the MCP server also, like on the Loki tool, it provides like some prompts, so it helps the LLM to do a proper query, but it doesn't mean that the query will be successful. Internally though, and for the Grafana system, and then Matt, maybe you want to jump in on that, we do have like a big set of instructions on how Loki can be queried. And this is actually quite handy and helpful. So the assistant doesn't really make a lot of mistakes. But for MCP, the prompt that we have is quite limited at the moment, but maybe we can make it better. We can definitely improve it.
Yeah,
it works
with
most of the time. But
yeah, with PromQL, we find models are very good. Actually, the LLMs have good intuition about Grafana and the ecosystem naturally, because it's all open source. It's one of the kind of cool sort of byproducts of that. The LLMs are already trained on all that, so they have a good intuition. So, and PromQL in particular, I think because of the amount of time that it's been around and the amount of content there is out there on it, it does a very good job. Less so on LogQL, but we have to do a bit more work to help it along there. Yeah.
And I see there is a comment from a user which says like there is a Loki MCP server is available. So I think that something can be used to enhance it and make it more natural. Yeah.
Yeah, I bet that actually anyone can build, if you've got an API, you can build an MCP server on top of that.
Yeah.
One of the challenges we're going to face is, the more tools you give the LLM, the more opportunity is for it to be confused in one agent. And I think that is still, unless this gets solved in the LLMs at some point, and I'm sure they are working on this. We did recently get concurrent tool calls, at least it's described that way. So I think this innovation will come, but yeah, so you can kind of like build, I think, these different capabilities. But if it's just a load of disparate tools, the GitHub MCP server has just got loads of tools of all the things. I wonder if we ought to be thinking a little bit higher level. Some low level really works, and it can mix them in good ways. But I'm interested also in higher level tools, which do a bit more work for you rather than just expose the interface.
Yeah, I think we all started like this, right? Like just translating from this is a API route, and now this is MCP2, and now we are realizing that this is if we are saying that this is natural language, APIs are not actually like translated to natural language. So you need to have tools that do a bit more of steps or have a more concise description, and we are all learning that. Like for example, the low-key QL, the LogQL queries, right? If you have just the translation of low-key API routes, then that doesn't help much LLM agent. So if you have a tool that validates your query or adds some instructions while you're creating that that's a better MCP tool than just translating the APIs. But again, we are still learning how those things works.
Okay, I think that's definitely the most hot questions for the MCP. Is there a way to use the Grafana MCP on Kubernetes? Maybe.
Yeah, well, remote MCP brings a lot of new challenges, right? So it's a container, like you can use a Docker version of MCP, but then you have to set up, especially I think token and how this will interact with your Grafana instance and in a secure way. It's those are things that we are still trying to figure out even internally, and I think majority of the ecosystem still is. So I know that Cloudflare is also providing MCP remote and trying to fix that, but it's still hard. So I don't know if anyone else had more experience with Kubernetes and MCP.
Not really, but just to add on the hosted, like in the remote thing that you mentioned, like we recently we talked in the team about like having hosted MCP, if hosted Grafana MCP, but again, we do have the same issue with the auth. So I think that this would be great if you can just have MCP.grafana whatever .net and use it, but it requires the authentication flow that I mentioned earlier. Hopefully it's coming. Yeah, again, no time bans, but this would solve definitely some of those issues.
Cool. I must inform you guys, we're actually out of time already. We spent 1 minute more ahead than the required time. So yeah, I think that's all for today. Any last comments before we close, or you want to share some useful docs or links before we close this call, Luccas or Ioanna?
Yeah, somebody asked if you could put that repo somewhere.
The GitHub repo, yeah. I think that we can. It's actually code created by Cursor, but we can. Yeah, we can definitely like beautify it a bit and make it public. So yeah, I don't think that this can happen. I think that we can.
Cool. Then, thank you everyone for joining again. Actually, I learned a lot today about the MCP, AI, LLM, and I hope you guys as well. And for now, that's all we have. So see you next time. Till then, take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Just have to hold a smile now.